Okay, so today I'm making a Bus Depot high round strategy guide because I've had a lot of people ask, and I haven't really seen anyone make one, at least recently. The only ones I've seen are from like 2012, and so they're pretty outdated. And I've been playing this map a lot recently, and I'm just gonna try to go into as much as detail as possible. Because even though this is a simple map, I guess there's like a lot of small things you kind of need to know if you're gonna try to get far on it. And I'm gonna leave timestamps in the description of each thing I go over. So if you're looking for anything specific, just look in the description and skip straight to whatever you're looking for. But other than that, let's get straight to it, where I basically just knife through the first two rounds. I mean, pretty much anyone knows how to do that. I always try to leave the spawn room at the end of round two because, like, during round three, the lava that's in the spawn room will actually, like, start to appear, and then any zombies that spawn in here and run out will be lava zombies and can explode when you kill them and will just block your vision, damage you, and overall are just a lot more of annoyances than regular non-lava zombies. So I try to get out of there before the lava appears. And then I'll usually spend round three, four, and most of round five just standing right here in the fog, going through rounds with the MP5 to just get points to go start spam hitting the box. If you didn't know, on Bus Depot, standing in the fog gives you some spawn control and completely eliminates all the spawns inside the actual building. There are 4 barriers in there. There are 12 spawns in like total on Bus Depot. So standing in the fog cancels out 4, meaning you only have 8 spawns on the entire map. And I always try to hold out the MP5 when I'm, in this area because the MP5, the Chicom, however you want to say that, and the ballistic knife have the quickest mobility in the game. So I always try to hold the MP5, or if I get a Chicom or ballistic knife, I'll just try to hold it while I run around here because I can run really fast with them. And you're obviously hitting the box for a ray gun or a ray gun Mark II, and then monkeys or EMPs, which I will now talk about which one is the actual better option to get if you're able to get both. EMPs and monkeys are very, very different, obviously. But EMPs and monkeys are both in the box. I don't think either are too rare. I seem to get them pretty consistently, so if you want either of them, you shouldn't have too much of a problem getting them. But if you didn't know, with EMPs, you can simply get a full horde of zombies together, EMP them, and they will be basically like frozen. They won't really hit you or do anything unless you like run straight at them and walk into them, like if you sprint near them or if you shoot. So don't walk into them, don't sprint near them, or don't shoot, and they will not do anything to you. Monkeys, on the other hand, I feel like most people know what monkeys do, but I'll explain it anyway. You throw them, they distract the zombies, very simple, so they're pretty helpful at saving you. However, on Bus Depot, Town, Transit, or any map that has lava, if a monkey even touches lava or a little crack in the ground that has lava, the monkey will turn off and not work. So that's just something to be wary of when you do use the monkeys, is that on occasions they will not work. So what I've kind of thought of is monkeys are good for like the first 30 rounds because occasionally they can save you. But if you're going for like 40 or 50 plus, I would go for the EMPs as they're just simply way better because you're going to have to be trading your ray gun a lot in the higher rounds. So it's pretty much up to you which one you're going to want to get. But if you're going for like a high round, I'd go for EMPs. If you're just going for 30, then you can go for the monkeys. But with that debate now out of the way, back to just box hitting for a ray gun or a ray gun Mark II. Now, in a perfect world, you'd get a ray gun Mark II. However, we're playing Bus Depot. This is obviously not a perfect world. So a lot of the time, you're going to end up with the regular ray gun. And now, let me show you all the spawns to help you with the early round strategy for training. There are 2 ground spawns right here in front of me, that barrier to my left and the other barrier, ground spawn right there, and then 2 back here in the fog, and then all the way over here, there is one barrier next to where the box spawns. So overall, 12 spawns on Bus Depot, 8 if you're standing inside the fog. Now for the early round training strategy, where I'll mainly try to not leave the fog and just train around this little sign that's right in front of it. Occasionally you will get pushed out, and here's what to do when you do get pushed out. Never run through these two areas simply because there's ground spawns to the right and that barrier to the left. Instead, run through one of these areas right here and then through that little crevice that's to the right of them with the sign. However, let's say the 3 of them are blocked, you'll simply run immediately right straight back to the fog and immediately raygun all the zombies if you're on an early round and can very easily do that. Or if you're a little bit farther or you just don't want to, you can do a couple cutbacks here in the fog until you get the rest of the zombies with you and then kill them all. Early rounds, just try to leave the fog as little as possible and instead just train around that little sign. Another thing to mention is that a lot of times it can be pretty hard to see the zombies when you're running outside the fog, so you have to really pay attention and look, because this one right there I could barely see and it hit me. And then also right here, if there's a zombie right there blocking this little pathway, run to the left and jump through the lava. You have to make sure you stay away from that zombie, because if you get hit while jumping through the lava, you can very easily die. And those are like the 2 small mistakes I usually see on early rounds. Now let me explain something that's a little more complicated but still pretty simple, because you will need to know it for higher rounds. The drop cycle. So on Bus Depot, there are 5 power-ups: the nuke, double points, max ammo, Carpenter, and insta-kill. Let's say at the start of the game, I get an insta-kill as the first power-up. I will not be able to get that insta-kill again until I get the other 4 drops, because it goes in a complete cycle. If I get a max ammo at the start of the game as my first drop, I won't be able to get a max ammo until I've gotten at least the other 4 drops. However, there is a way to cancel out Carpenters and remove them completely from the game, and I will be showing that later a little bit after I show the high round strat. So keep that in mind, but that is a drop cycle, and it is very helpful to know, because you'll know when your next insta-kill, max ammo, or nuke is. But we're back to the low round training strat, where I will of course start in the fog. This time I will basically just try to stall back here as much as possible before running out, looking to the right for an opening, immediately running back through this little crevice right here, back to the fog, and then repeat that. Almost always there will be at least a opening for you to run back to the fog. However, if there is not, you could run through one of those 2 gaps that are over by those cars that would take you to the box and then run all the way back here. However, I wouldn't recommend it, as there will almost always be an opening for you to get back to the fog that is closer. And if you were confused by what I meant by one of the gaps near the cars, I will show here what can kind of happen if you don't really find an opportunity to run through. So right here, both of those areas looked a little too blocked and not safe, so I ran all the way back here and simply ran around this circle a tiny little bit, then ran all the way back across the map. This is not what you usually want to do, as, well, 1, it's slower, and 2, it's pretty unsafe due to the amount of spawns back there. Now that I've shown you the early rounds with the regular ray gun, it's time to switch over to the Mark II, and unfortunately I'm not on PC, so I have no way of just giving it to myself or box patching it, so I kind of had to just play until I was eventually able to get it, and I wasn't able to get it for a while, so I don't have super early round gameplay of like, before round 10 or like before even 20, but it's the same as the regular ray gun of just stay in the fog as much as possible and then like run back in and kill. It's just a little harder because you can't spam as much with the Mark II. However, once you get to 20 and stuff, it's a little different, as lining up zombies with the Mark II is way different than just getting a horde together with the ray gun, and I'm going to try to show you how to be ammo efficient with the Mark II and stuff like that. So you'll basically train here and find a gap to run straight through, as so, and then you're going to want to train around these pillars to get them all lined up to hit as many headshots as you can. I hate saying just train and don't die, But since I've already shown you the early round strat, I feel like you kind of know what to do. And then you just get the horde and run them around those pillars to line them up and hit your headshots with the Mark II. And now, once you have made it to about round 24 or 25, it's kind of your choice. You can start the high round strat. From what I've seen people call it, it's just mainly been called depot strategy. You're going to want to start in the fog, kind of stall back here as long as you can, making cutbacks until you eventually will run out, get straight past the zombies, and then run into the building. And do this exact train as I do. Try to put at least one board on that barrier for any late spawners, and then you'll just walk a circle around here, and then you really should hold out your Mark II or Mark I, but I'm dumb, and I didn't. And then walk out, and if you have the Mark II, train around the pillars to line up headshots. Mark I, run straight back to the fog, get the horde together, and kill them. It is a very simple strategy, and most of the challenge of this map is being able to actually make it to start this strat. Once you can start it, if you're holding your wonder weapon out in there and can get rid of any that are in front of you, you should be able to get far. It's just minor mistakes are what usually kill you on this map. And then here's me running another horde in here, still not holding my wonder weapon out because I'm just dumb. Your movement speed in here doesn't matter nearly as much as out there when you're training, so you really should just hold it out for any late spawners or walking zombies that might block your path. And since I have the Mark II, I just try to get them lined up again, and I hit all the headshots that I can and just get rid of them. How to deal with the walking zombies is pretty much just try to ignore them or kill them if you need to. Now this will bring us to the best part of the high round strat, the no carpenters. So I mentioned earlier there's a way to remove them. By simply having less than 4 windows like open on the map, you will get no carpenters. There are only 7 barriers on Bus Depot, so by simply fully boarding up the 4 that are in this building, you will remove carpenters from your drop cycle, leaving you only the 4 drops: nuke, insta-kill, double points, max ammo. And since you get 4 drops around, you'll get those pretty much every round on higher rounds, which will give you more max ammos, which means less tradeouts and can be very helpful. Simply save a zombie at the end of a round and rebuild the 4 in there. It'll help you be safe from late spawners and give you no carpenters. And now to talk about tradeouts. If you don't know what a tradeout is, it's when your Raygun or Raygun Mark II inevitably runs out of ammo. You'll simply trade it for a wall gun and start hitting the box to get it back. You won't run into this problem if you're just going to 30 and you're trying to be efficient with your ammo, but for something like around 40 or higher, you probably will. So let's say right there, my Raygun Mark II was out of ammo. It obviously wasn't, but for the sake of the video, let's say it was. This is how you would do a tradeout. It is extremely easy on this map. Literally just walk in this circle and hit the box. The only thing that can make it difficult is occasionally you'll have zombies that will just drop dead and respawn, but you constantly will be looking at them, so as soon as you notice zombies respawn, simply stop focusing on the box and start looking around and just get them back in the horde. And now, if you decided to keep your EMPs for tradeouts, they actually get even easier. You'll simply get a whole horde together in pretty much whatever area you like, just not right next to the box, EMP all of them, and walk away. Do not sprint, do not shoot, or walk into them, and you can pretty much stand directly against the box, spam hitting it until you get your ray gun, or if you don't want the regular ray gun, then keep going and get a Mark II. It's your choice. With all that being said, you now can pretty much get to high rounds. It'll probably take some practice, but that's pretty much all I can really tell you. Now, here is another viable low round strategy that I saw some people ask about when I asked if you guys wanted to see anything specific, and it is this popular camping spot on Bus Depot. Now, this strat can work. However, you really need a lot better RNG for this to work. You kind of need a ray gun, a good AR or LMG, and monkeys, or if not a ray gun, preferably a Mark II if you really want to keep this strat going. So I really wouldn't recommend this, but if you're not confident at all in your ability to train, you could do this, but I wouldn't do it too far past like 20 or 25. Definitely don't go past 25 if you don't have a Mark II though. But this strat can work until about 20 or 25, so you could do it. I also feel like just learning the other low round training strategy is just more worth it, because let's say you have bad RNG and you don't get the guns you need to camp, you'd already know how to, train over there for lower rounds. So I feel like it's just more worth it in the long run to just learn the training strat, because learning how to do it on the lower rounds will help you do it on the higher rounds as well. So I would just recommend learning the training strat rather than doing this. So this part of the video, I'm just going to go over some minor mistakes and things that I know I have done and how to try to fix them or avoid them entirely. So one of the first things that I used to do was try to over optimize insta kills. You can very easily optimize them on low rounds, like anything before, I don't know, about 20 or even 25, as long as you can like make sure. But using them on high rounds when the spawns are very fast can mess you up entirely, especially with lava zombies constantly exploding, blocking your vision, and even damaging you. It's just a lot safer to do the strategy that I'll show you. And here's me, trying to use an insta-kill on 32, which, isn't a crazy high round. The spawns aren't insanely fast. I chuck grenades towards the right to try to cancel out as many zombies from getting close to me because they're all on fire. And as you can see, with no speed cola, I'm still just getting overrun with an insta-kill, and it's just not safe. Anything could have gone wrong there, and I very easily could have died. It made me run out of the training area and all the way over here, and just over-optimizing them can very, very easily get you killed. Instead of trying to over-optimize and putting yourself at risk, here is a much simpler strategy that can still very easily get you at least a full horde worth of zombies killed with said insta-kill. So you're just going to want to run the depot strategy like so, considering you're on a round high enough where you should be doing this. If you're on a low round where you shouldn't be doing this strat, just optimize the insta-kill because the spawns will be slow enough. After you run out, simply turn around and toss a grenade, or just kill all of them with your MP5. Either works. I usually toss a grenade just to be sure because my aim can be questionable at times. And that is how you pretty much can safely get at least one horde out of an insta-kill. And then I got a nuke there. Watch out for nukes occasionally. Only pick them up if you know you safely can and there's no zombies near you, because lava zombies unfortunately will still explode after a nuke and can get you killed sometimes. The safest possible way to grab a nuke is by simply running around the full map through one of those gaps that I ran through right there, preferably the one I ran through, that truck gap, and then run straight back to the nuke and pick it up when nothing is near you. However, a lot of the time, you can just pick it up before that and be fine. Now I'll talk with a extreme annoyance on high rounds, the walking zombies. You can a lot of times get trapped in the building because of them. There are two ways to deal with them. Either keep training around in the building and run out and just try to avoid them, or the better choice, especially if you have a Raygun MK2, start blasting and get rid of them, get them out of your way, destroy them. If you have a Mark 1, you can probably make it into a crawler and jump over it. But if you have a Mark 1, I would say try to run past it. If you don't think you can, shoot it. But if you have a Mark 2, kill the thing immediately and get it out of your way as soon as possible. And overall, that is about it. That is pretty much all I can tell you. For such a simple map, there is honestly a lot to explain because there's just so many little things that can happen during the game. And remember, just because you watch this does not mean that you're going to hop on and get around 30 or 50 first try. This map is still stupidly hard, and you'll probably make some random mistakes or just get unlucky spawns and can die a lot before getting far. So, if you just keep dying over and over, don't get discouraged, just keep trying it. It took me way longer than I would like to admit to actually be able to get far. But thank you for watching, and if you have any further questions, you can ask them in the comments, or you can join the Discord server so that you can ask me or talk to me in a VC, and I could try to help explain it better. But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.